We're now joined by Dennis Stabile, Deputy Director of the Tunnels, Bridges, and Terminals Department at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Dennis, good to see you.
Good afternoon. Good to see you, too.
We're here to talk about the bridge, the GWB, the George Washington Bridge, 1931 opened up, right?
That's correct.
So what the heck has going on for the next 10 years that we need to know about to restore, improve the George Washington Bridge?
So we have a lot of great work going on. The bridge was built opened in 1931, so it's 91 years old. It's in great shape, but it has some wear and tear, and we need to keep it going for another 100 years. So we have a huge project going on at the bridge. We're calling it the Restoring the George program. It's a $1.9 billion program. It comprises 11 projects, mostly structural and civil engineering related work on the roadway and the bridge itself. But the key project that I'd like to really talk about is the replacement of the suspender ropes. So we have 592 original suspender ropes, right? The hangers that hold up the bridge, right. They were put in 1931, and they've lasted all these years, and we're replacing them right now. We just completed replacing all the ropes on the north side of the bridge. Now we're going to flip over and start on the south side of the bridge. So it's really—
Why does that need to be done, Dennis? Sorry for interrupting. Why does it need to be done?
Because we want to maintain the reliability of the bridge for the future. They're made of steel. They're exposed to the elements. It's over a river. You have the seasonal weather that affects it as well. We maintain them. We paint them regularly. We clean them. But at 91 years old, the best bet is to replace them to ensure a reliable bridge for the next 100 years.
What about the sidewalks?
So we're also replacing the sidewalks. So that's part of the project as well. So you have existing sidewalks on either side of the bridge. They're both being completely replaced, but we're doing a lot of upgrades to the sidewalk as well. So to start with, when you come around the towers on either side of the bridge, you have the New Jersey Tower and the New York Tower, you're at like a 90-degree angle. So these sidewalks will expand that area for cyclists, for pedestrians, so there's more room. We're also making significant improvements in terms of there were existing stairs on the New Jersey side. So for cyclists coming over the bridge, you had to carry your bike downstairs. Now you can go from grade to grade on either side. And we're also putting in these beautiful viewing platforms at several locations because you have the beautiful Hudson River, the Palisades Rock, the cliffs. It's beautiful. So now pedestrians, cyclists really get to enjoy the bridge.
You know, let's put this in perspective. Our producers did a great job trying to help us understand, help me understand, and our audience understand. Back in 1931, 5 million annual vehicles going across the bridge. Is it? It can't be right.
No, that's correct. So
from 5 million to 100 million vehicles every year?
That's correct. So the bridge opened in the end of 1931, but in October. But in the first full year of operation in 1932, there were 5.5 million vehicles, both directions total, which was significant at the time. However, our current numbers are well over 100 million, both directions annually. That equates to around 300,000 vehicles per day in both directions, which makes the George Washington Bridge the busiest bridge in the world. In addition to that, you have all the pedestrians that use the bridge, cyclists that use the bridge, so it's heavily utilized.
Talk about the economic part of this, because obviously transportation infrastructure, that's the primary way one would describe, oh, you're restoring the George. It must be, it's transportation, it's infrastructure, a word not a lot of people want to use, but it's real, particularly when it needs to be upgraded. But the economic impact of the GW Bridge.
Oh, it was huge. So if you go back to 1931, for centuries, you had an impassable barrier, which was the Hudson River, just about a mile long, separating New York and New Jersey. The two communities were separated. It was like a world away. You had ferries, but that takes hours and hours. It's not really an efficient way to move goods and people. So once the bridge was built, as you can see, as we mentioned, you had 5.5 million users in the first year. But what it did is it really created a boom to the economy on both sides. You had Bergen County in northern New Jersey, which was mostly rural at the time, that really had an explosion in the residential development. It really affected the trucking industry because now you had the I-95 corridor where you were able to carry trucks and cargo up and down whenever you needed it. So that really improved the economy in that way. And it opened up the neighborhoods on either side for housing, for shopping, for education, for recreational activities. So it really provided a huge stimulus to the economy at that time and continues to do so today.
Now, Dennis, by background, you're an engineer.
That's correct.
What the heck is it like for you as an engineer? Training when you did and went to school and did all the things you needed to do to be in the position you're in now to be a key player in a project like this at such an iconic and important historic bridge facility in this country.
It's really a dream come true. I always wanted to be an engineer from a young child. I grew up in the New York area. So it was something that I always looked at these bridges, and to be able to work on these, as you said, iconic structures. They're beautiful. They're engineering marvels when they were first created, when they were first built. The George Washington Bridge was the longest suspension bridge in the world. It's an amazing experience. It's very fulfilling. It's great to see all the use and the benefit that the region gets from these bridges. So it's a very rewarding experience for an engineer to be able to work and on these iconic structures, and really a privilege.
Before I let you go, 10-year project, correct?
That's correct. We're in the midst of it, yes.
Okay. Impact on traffic, dare I ask? I have to.
Yes, and we try to minimize that as best as possible. We do the work off hours at night and on weekends when we can. So we really do a thorough traffic analysis when we plan these projects. Unfortunately, there's always some impact, but we try to minimize that impact as best we can by doing careful analysis. And we react real time working with our operations at the bridge, such that we'll delay start of construction. Something else is going on, which there always is on the George Washington Bridge, between Yankee games, accidents, all other things going on.
We're taping this during the playoffs, so let's leave that alone, okay?
Right.
For those of us in Jersey, you got to get across the bridge. If you're in New York, you go another way. But if without the GW Bridge, we're not getting over to Jerome Avenue. Leave it at that. So Dennis Stabile is Deputy Director of the Tunnels, Bridges, and Terminals Department at the Port Authority. I want to thank you so much. Wish you and the team all the best working on the GWB over the next several years. All the best. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJM Insurance Group, the Russell Berry Foundation, Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters, New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, the New Jersey Education Association, the Northward Center, and by Englewood Health. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ and by AM 970 The Answer.
NJM Insurance Company has been serving New Jersey policyholders for more than 100 years. But just who are NJM's policyholders? They're the men and women who teach our children, the public sector employees who maintain our infrastructure, the workers who craft our manufactured goods, and New Jersey's next generation of leaders. The people who make our state a great place to call home. NJM, we've got New Jersey covered.